This is not an injustice involving injury or death. This is not an injustice that will change laws or that people will remember for years. This is not the murder of Daniel Shaver. But this is an example of the lack of police accountability that has become normal. It's the kind of lack of accountability that grows like a cancer, becoming and assisting larger injustices. When police lack accountability in small instances like these, it shows us how they are likely to act when they are actually faced with consequences such as discipline. It shows us who they really protect and serve. When faced with the opportunity to correct a wrong, Mesa Police, all the way up to Assistant Chief Ed Wessing, absolutely refused to admit any kind of wrong and refused to correct information they created but knew to be false. I will show this to you. It started when, on an unknown date and for an unknown purpose, Mesa Police Crime Scene Unit Shift Supervisor Sean Connor documented social media agitators. Command staff is working diligently behind the scenes regarding this issue, particularly Assistant Chief Wessing. Assistant Chief Wessing has been working hard with the media, getting them information about the issues that these individuals are causing our personnel. Staff recognizes that these agitators have crossed the line from First Amendment auditors to outright provocateurs. Jeff Ballon is also working on an ordinance or addition to the municipal code that would provide officers a tool to better control the actions of the agitators. It's a long process. Other cities and agencies have to be involved, consulted, a lot of equipment, etc., but they are working towards the goal of encrypting radios. Chief Cost is big on transparency, however. Recommendations from the chief when dealing with agitators: don't engage them if you don't have to, don't take their bait, be professional, exercise patience, and ask for backup to deal with them so you can deal with whatever you need to. If you engage them, ask them to move back, have conversation with them, etc., and they ask for your name and badge number, yes, you are supposed to provide it. If they're just yelling at you from 30 feet away about wanting name and badge number, then no. He then speaks about new Glocks and promotions, so we can be pretty sure this is direct and official Mesa Police communications, some of it coming directly from Police Chief Ken Cost himself. Then, only through citizen public records requests, a Mesa Police internal document was released, listing at least 10 agitators, who all appear to be police accountability activists or videographers with YouTube channels. The list documents the full names, or the descriptions, or the dates of birth, or the equipment and clothing used, and more, from these 10 citizens. It appears to show the summary of an unknown incident, but we will later learn that this was not included in an official general offense report. This was instead a secret internal document for the purposes of spying on YouTubers outside the scope of a criminal investigation. No crimes resulted and no official report exists documenting the purpose of this investigation, the cost or resources used, or any other ongoing or related unofficial investigations. If other similar investigations exist, they will be hidden from the scrutiny of the standards of an official written report and of accountability to the public. Under male agitator number 10, we find the Gilbert bystander, listed only as mentioned in the auditors but is not present during the incident. How could the Gilbert bystander have crossed the First Amendment lines if he wasn't even present during the incident? And which incident? And does Mesa Police even have evidence that the Gilbert bystander has ever stepped foot in Mesa? I contacted Mesa Police, demanding proof that I have crossed the First Amendment lines, or lacking that, a retraction of the label of agitator number 10. Mesa Police Internal Affairs responded. The material you are referring to was not posted by Mesa Police but by a citizen and was not included in an official general offense report. No further action will be conducted by the Mesa Police Department. This matter is considered closed. This didn't make too much sense to me. If this investigation wasn't in an official general offense report, where was it? And what was it for if not for a general offense report? Since they did not provide what I asked for, I reopened the case officially by saying, "Unfortunately, the information has been made public. What evidence did you originally have to label me an agitator? Please provide me with a written retraction or provide details of agitation that I may forward to my employers. I will pursue legal action if no retraction is issued." Internal Affairs responded with a copy-paste but added, "This matter is considered closed. Due to the mention of legal action, no further communication will be conducted through Internal Affairs." Again, I personally reopened the matter by responding, "I have personally reopened this matter to give you another opportunity to retract labeling the Gilbert bystander as an agitator with no evidence, or to provide evidence of such a label. To refuse both is to confirm the label as an agitator in writing, as you have done here. It would be very easy to retract this label or to provide more information. Good Americans everywhere see you doing nothing, which is itself a confirmation of such a label." This would be the last time I communicated with Internal Affairs. It didn't matter though. Soon I would be communicating directly with Assistant Chief Ed Wessing. Around this time, I reached out to several reporters, and it was clear from their responses that they got the same response from Internal Affairs that I did, except they swallowed it whole. Nicole Grigg of ABC 15 responded, "Hi Gilbert bystander, I got your tweet and email. I'm a little confused though. Do they ever name you? Why is Mesa PD saying it wasn't from them?" I responded, "They named me by channel as the Gilbert bystander. My full name and information is known to Gilbert Police though. They did not say it didn't come from them. They said they did not release it." Similarly, Cecilia Chan of the Gilbert Sun News asked mostly about damages. It was clear that the local media was not interested. They did not view this as I did. A United States police force conducting secret investigations specifically on police accountability activists outside the scope of regular police reports and public scrutiny. If this investigation was only uncovered through sly public records requests, what other secret lists or investigations is connected to the Gilbert bystander and others with zero proof? Remember, The Gilbert bystander was a social media agitator who had crossed the First Amendment lines to outright provocateur, without ever being documented in any incident in Mesa. We've now seen Mesa police purposefully mislead the local media, and it simply worked. Instead of correcting a simple mistake by saying there is no evidence of the Gilbert bystander being an agitator, Mesa police will double down, refuse to correct any false and damaging information, and show us how afraid of accountability they really are, all the way up to the chief. After continued requests to Mesa police and the city of Mesa to either retract the agitator label or provide support for it, I got word from Assistant Chief Ed Wessing. He would complain about numerous emails, but daily emails were necessary. I never received acknowledgement that any of my emails were ever received, or that anyone after Internal Affairs was looking into my issue. Only one email was necessary if Mesa Police communicated effectively with the public. Mesa Police leadership finally responded. Please see the attached letter in response to your numerous emails related to our release of public records in accordance with state law. The City of Mesa has received your request to retract records released in response to a public records request made by someone who identified themselves as Nunya and pursuant to state law. In one page of the released records related to an incident investigated by the Mesa Police, the Gilbert bystander is referenced as someone who was mentioned by other auditors but was not present during the incident. The Mesa PD Internal Affairs Unit has already communicated with you via email and indicated that they have received your complaint and provided the following information to you in an email to your listed email address. The material you are referring to was not posted by Mesa Police but by a citizen and was not included in an official general offense report. No further action will be conducted by the Mesa Police Department. This matter is considered closed. After reviewing your request, the Mesa Police Department is unable to alter the information that has already been released in accordance with Arizona law. This response was insulting and full of contradiction. Ed says the Gilbert bystander was referenced as someone, when actually they were referenced as male agitator number 10, who is associated with crossing the First Amendment lines into outright provocateur. Ed says these records are related to an incident investigated by Mesa Police, but Internal Affairs and this very response stated there is no general offense report. So what was going on here? What were they investigating and why? And what crime occurred to necessitate the attempted identification of the Gilbert bystander? What other internal list is the Gilbert bystander on? At this point, I want to stress that I did not pick this fight with Mesa Police. They accused me of illegal and anti-American activities with zero proof. I responded, "This is not an acceptable response to us. These are the indisputable facts. You labeled the Gilbert bystander as agitator number 10. You also state the Gilbert bystander was not present at any incident in Mesa. You have also documented that agitators have crossed the First Amendment lines into outright provocateurs. There is no evidence of the Gilbert bystander ever being in Mesa. Crossing the First Amendment lines into provocateurism is equivalent of saying we have incited violence. We have asked repeatedly for evidence of such agitation or provocation, or a retraction of labeling the Gilbert bystander an agitator. You've done neither and thus doubled down on your false information. It's sad to see you purposefully miss an opportunity to engage with the truth. Making mistakes is okay. Refusing to accept accountability is never acceptable to us or to the people of Mesa. You seem to have purposefully misinterpreted our request for a retraction as redaction. I have attached a helpful guide for you to determine the difference between these words. Please provide a written retraction stating there is no evidence the Gilbert bystander is an agitator and no evidence of crossing the First Amendment lines into provocateurism, or provide such evidence. It's really simple to do this, and it's the right thing. You could do this in a reply to this very email right now. The name of the original investigator who documented the Gilbert bystander as agitator number 10. The original incident report and incident number relevant to the Gilbert bystander. Any related or other reports, communications referencing the Gilbert bystander. The date and purpose of the communication wherein crime scene unit shift supervisor Sean Connor documented, staff recognizes that these agitators have crossed the line from First Amendment auditors to outright provocateurs. The city, state, or federal crime that was being investigated to necessitate the attempted identification of private citizen, the Gilbert bystander. Because you and your team do not send acknowledgement emails, we will follow up every single day until we are provided these. We really have no way of knowing our emails are even received without such acknowledgement anyway. It's shocking and sad you won't issue a retraction to what's known to be totally unsupported information. So, I have not received a response. I hope it's obvious how Mesa Police is dodging accountability here. I hope I've shown you how they secretly spied on me without evidence. I've been in Mesa and been accused of operating outside the First Amendment. I hope it's clear that if you are even thinking about filming the police, even legally, Mesa Police will find you and they will have a problem with you. And this is how you create more agitators, Ed Wessing. If we cannot expect Mesa Police to accept accountability on a simple, low-stakes mistake, how can we possibly expect them to accept responsibility when they murder one of our neighbors?
Prosecutors and police agreed it was wrong. In March 2016, Brailsford is criminally charged with murder. He was later acquitted. He also received a notice of dismissal, fired from Mesa Police for violating 6 policies, including willful disobedience of rules or orders and conduct unbecoming an officer.
All that was very public. But what happened a couple years later is just coming to light now. A deal between Brailsford and the Mesa City Manager's office allowing him to apply for medical retirement and an accidental disability pension. His termination was undone and he was allowed to come back with no pay in order to get this done.
He was eligible for retirement benefits, so he applied for them.
But he was made available for retirement benefits because the city then agreed to allow him to come back to work.
State law governing public safety pensions says an officer shall file an application for a disability pension within 1 year after the date the member ceases to be an employee. But more than 2 years had passed since Brailsford's termination, so he would have never qualified without this special agreement to be rehired. Brailsford pleaded his case to the local pension board on the basis of PTSD. And guess who sits on that 5-member board? City Manager Chris Brady.
He had PTSD claim prior to his termination. So in fairness, he was given the opportunity to make that appeal to the board. So whatever the mechanism took place, but prior to his termination, his claim was that he had he was suffering from PTSD.
PTSD from the incident where he shot an unarmed man.
I don't remember the record of that. You'll have to go back and check.
You don't remember what his PTSD came from?
Okay, I gotta get
We have to start. We're already 15 minutes late.
Brailsford's attorney confirms the PTSD stemmed from the shaver shooting itself and the murder case afterwards.